A major update here in the Dominion lawsuit against Fox News. According to a newly released deposition from the News Corp chairman, Rupert Murdoch acknowledged that a number of Fox hosts endorsed the false narrative that the 2020 election was stolen away from Trump. I want to read a portion of the deposition here. Question: you are now aware that Fox endorsed at times this false notion of a stolen election? Murdoch: not Fox, no, not Fox, but maybe Lou Dobbs, maybe Maria as commentators. Question: you went through Fox host Maria Bartiromo, yes? Murdoch: yes, come on. Fox host Jeanine Pirro? I think so. Fox business host Lou Dobbs? Oh, a lot. Fox host Sean Hannity? A bit. The questioner then asked again whether Fox endorsed the narrative of a stolen election, to which Murdoch pushed back, saying, no, some of our commentators were endorsing it. The questioner then asked about their endorsement of a stolen election, to which Murdoch conceded, yes, they endorsed. In other words, Murdoch was leaning on this tenuous defense that Fox itself didn't endorse the baseless idea of a stolen election. Only a raft of people who appeared on Fox's air. In other words, the nebulous, faceless entity of Fox didn't endorse, just all the people who literally make up the Fox network, which is a defense so fragile that it took only a few seconds for Murdoch to eventually concede the truth. We also know that Paul Ryan, who sits on the News Corp board of directors, told Rupert Murdoch and his son Lachlan, quote, Fox News should not be spreading conspiracy theories and to move on from Donald Trump and stop spreading election lies. And that when asked by Dominion's lawyer whether he could have ordered Fox News to keep Trump lawyers like Sidney Powell and Rudy Giuliani off the air, Murdoch responded, I could have, but I didn't. In other words, he made the conscious decision to continue broadcasting what he knew were lies. According to the deposition, Murdoch confirmed that the decision was to allow these wild claims on air, although he phrased it, as his lawyers now do, that it was only a matter of reporting the news. That so long as Fox was just calling balls and strikes, they couldn't be responsible for Trump's stolen election narrative, as they were just reporting on Trump's stolen election narrative. Except, thanks to this deposition, we now have information that undermines even that defense. It turns out that Rupert Murdoch provided Jared Kushner with confidential information about Biden's ads before they were public, along with debate strategy. Now, I'm no lawyer, but I'd love for someone to remind me whether Fox giving illegal in-kind contributions to the Trump campaign is on the level. So when Fox tries to hide behind this idea of we were just reporting the news, they weren't. They were literally shaping the news. They were a character in all of this. They were supplying the Trump side with insider information to literally assist him. They're not some neutral arbiter here. They were literally colluding with the Trump team to help him win, all on the basis of this fake stolen election claim. So this defense that Fox was some innocent bystander here is complete and total bullshit. And that's not even the only example of Fox putting its finger on the scale and completely undermining its own defense of just reporting the news. When a Fox reporter did try to fact-check one of Trump's baseless tweets referring to Fox's broadcast, she was attacked. Reporter Jackie Heinrich tweeted that there was no evidence of voter fraud from Dominion, and in response, revealed text messages now show that Fox hosts and executives lobbied to get her fired. Tucker Carlson told Hannity, please get her fired. Seriously, what the fuck? I'm actually shocked. It needs to stop immediately, like tonight. Hannity said he'd already mentioned it to CEO Suzanne Scott. I just dropped a bomb, he said. Suzanne Scott then told Fox President Jay Wallace and Senior Vice President for Corporate Communications Irene Briganti that Heinrich, quote, has serious nerve doing this, and if it gets picked up, viewers are going to be further disgusted. So when Fox tries to issue this defense that they were simply showing the news and that they can't be penalized for doing so, just know that that is not at all what they were doing. They were working not as a news network, but as political operatives under the pretense of a news network. They were showing only one specific narrative and outright punishing reporters for deigning to show a different narrative, one that just so happened to be reality. And let's be crystal clear here, we also know why Murdoch did this. According to this deposition, it's because it was more lucrative. From that deposition, quote, when asked why Fox continued to give a platform to known election denier Mike Lindell, Murdoch said that it is not red or blue, it is green. It is green. It's about money. He doesn't care what words come out of these people's mouths, so long as it makes him more cash. If he has to lie to his audience's face and platform known bullshitters, that's no skin off his back because he stands for nothing other than making more money for himself. And if feeding his audience the lies that they want to hear is going to do that, then obviously nothing was going to stop him. And so even though he knew that Lindell, that Powell, that Giuliani were spewing dangerous and overtly false lies about Dominion, about Smartmatic, about the election itself, this is the garbage that Murdoch broadcast on his air.
Not only did they use a Venezuelan company to count our ballots, which almost should be illegal per se. Number two, they didn't allow Republicans in key places to observe the mail vote. That makes the mail vote completely invalid. Now, they didn't do it everywhere. They did it in big cities where they have corrupt machines that will protect them, meaning in Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, and Pittsburgh, in Detroit. They didn't have to do it in Chicago, in New York, or Boston. They could have. They have corrupt machines there. They did it absolutely in Phoenix, Arizona. They did it absolutely in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Republicans were shut out.
We've got evidence of corruption all across the country in countless districts. The machine ran an algorithm that shaved votes from Trump and awarded them to Biden. They used the machines to trash large batches of votes that should have been awarded to President Trump. And they used a machine to inject and add massive quantities of votes for Mr. Biden.
With this particular thing that's going on now, I've been all in trying to find the machine fraud, and we found it. We have all the evidence. So at all these outlets that have been calling me, from the Washington Post, New York Times, every outlet in the country, they go, Mike Lindell, there's no evidence and he's making fraudulent statements. No, I have the evidence. I dare people to put it on. I dare Dominion to sue me, because then it would get out faster.
Consider, too, the law will protect Fox from liability if they report on false statements, but not if they promote them. And yet Fox was where these promotions took place. And they took place, again, in spite of the hosts and the top executives, including the chairman, all admitting that these claims were false and the characters spewing them were crazy. In fact, in its filing, based on testimony, Dominion said that not a single Fox witness had testified that they believed any of the allegations about Dominion. Did that stop this nonsense from being force-fed to its viewers on a nightly basis? Not a chance. All of which is to say that Fox, led by Rupert Murdoch, knew exactly what it was doing. Its hosts are on record admitting that the information they were airing was utter nonsense, and now its chairman is on record admitting that the information they were airing was utter nonsense. And yet they made the conscious decision to feed that disinformation to their audience anyway, an audience that they knew would believe them. So while they try to hide behind tepid claims that they were mere vessels of the news, just remember, the only news they allowed on air was fake. Fake again by the admission of its own chairman, all the way down to their on-air personalities. They weren't interested in promoting the news, they were interested in promoting bogus conspiracy theories and disinformation for the express purpose of keeping their market share and the money that came with it. So here's to hoping that Fox is finally held to account for at least one modicum of the damage that it's done to this country. Before you go, if you enjoyed this video and want to see more, please make sure to subscribe to my channel. You can click the thumbnail right here on this screen. And if you want to support my work even further, the best way is to subscribe to my podcast, No Lie with Brian Tyler Cohen. There you can check out my interviews with major players in the world of politics, including President Biden, Vice President Kamala Harris, Pete Buttigieg, Elizabeth Warren, Katie Porter, Jamie Raskin, and so many more. Plus other interviews that live exclusively on the podcast. That link is also right here on this screen, or just search No Lie with Brian Tyler Cohen wherever you listen to podcasts.